Greetings, brethren. Hausburger Donkey here, and this is a response to Johnny Watson Gaming about hobby likes and dislikes. I don't know why, but I've sort of gotten the impression that everybody does these response videos, or at least these specific ones, while they're painting. So I thought, why not also do some painting on my commission while I go into a few hobby likes and dislikes. I'm afraid that mine will be a little bit boring because I kind of just love the hobby, so I don't have that many dislikes, and they're somewhat petty. But I thought maybe my ramblings might be interesting anyway. So we'll start with a dislike, and I'll sort of do a like and a dislike. I think my first dislike is people, and I don't really have a term for them, but who just can't leave well enough alone. Who, for some reason, they are convinced that the way they do their hobby, that's how it is done, and how you should do it as well. And if you don't, then, well, you are just so incorrect. And I just hate that attitude. It's annoying. It's fine to do that as a joke, to be like, what I like is the best, and you should like it too. But if you're serious about that, then I think you're just kind of a shit person, honestly. Because there is no right or wrong way to do this hobby. Like, some things that you'll like, I just won't like, and some things that I like, you won't like, and that's fine. I think that specifically also. And it's kind of a tribalism thing as well, and it does come out with different gaming systems. That's at least what I've noticed it with the most, is people will pick one gaming system that they enjoy, one rule set, and they'll champion that as though it is the greatest thing that has ever been, and everything that isn't their gaming system is just rubbish, and oh my goodness, why would you even play it? I think one of the examples of this that has annoyed me the most in the past is and this isn't saying that these are the only people who do that. There are plenty of people who do that, and I'm not saying that everybody who likes this particular game is like that either. Obviously not. And I'm talking about Chain of Command. There are a lot of people who really, really like Chain of Command. And that's fair enough. I don't like Chain of Command, but if you like it, that's great. But for some reason, it's kind of a common meme in the Chain of Command sort of fan base that bolt action is basically just 40k in World War II made. And I just don't understand why that is a thing and where that comes from. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, either you've never played 40k or bolt action or both, or you're just being obtuse and just being a dickhead. I don't get it. Like, I don't mind you liking Chain of Command, but I find it unnecessary to bash what other people like. And to clarify, I don't really like bolt action either. I'm just kind of over World War II in general. But well, I hope we're all over World War II. But as a wargaming topic, but yeah, I don't know why that exists, and it certainly also exists in other games. Like, as I said, Chain of Command players are not the only ones who have that sort of. That sort of mindset among them, and I'm not saying everybody. Just making sure. But yeah, it's something I've noticed, and I really dislike that sort of attitude because different people like different things, and you're never gonna convince them that your way of thinking is better by belittling how they do things. So you're just being a jerk, and I think it's really pointless. Something I like then is just painting. I enjoy painting so much. I have very little aspirations to become the best painter in the world. Actually, I think I'll talk about that next as well, because that is a dislike of mine. But I find painting so relaxing, and it centers me. It just, when I'm having a bad day, I sit down, a few hours of painting, and I just feel better. It makes me just feel better about my day and about how things are going. And I really miss it when I don't paint for a week, I want to say. I really miss it, and I kind of just I kind of feel like at least doing a few hours just to have some painting done. Luckily these days with doing commission work, I paint most days, but um, yeah, it's just something that I enjoy so much, and I think if this went away, I might also lose interest in the hobby. So let's hope that pre-painted miniatures never become the norm, because that would certainly destroy any interest I have in the hobby. But yeah, and then the connected dislike to that would be the way uh, painting has sort of kind of, especially in YouTube circles or in the sort of social media circles, I guess, has kind of become somewhat fetishized. It's really weird in that painting incredibly well has become sort of, yeah, well, normalized. I mean, if you think back many years, there were not too many great painters. There were some excellent painters, and everybody knew someone locally who was good at painting. But the great painters were very few and far between, and they were usually either on the heavy metal team or they were otherwise famous, right? In the hobby circles, at least. But now, that the tools are available to pretty much everybody, and the resources and the knowledge are all over YouTube. It's kind of become a weird sort of almost cult-like mentality where people fall into this strange pattern of thinking where, oh my goodness, everything I paint needs to be perfect. And it just doesn't. That's just not true. Your painting doesn't have to be world class. You don't have to paint like a professional crystal brush golden demon winning painter. As long as you're happy with your figures, they're fine. And that, I think, is the problem, because people have idolized these extreme ways of painting, non-metallic metal and true metallic metal and object source lighting and all these other crazy techniques. I think people are just not happy with what they paint anymore, and I think that's very, very sad. And I see so many people who, they buy Kickstarters of miniatures to paint, and then they never paint them because, well, they need to paint every miniature the best that it can be painted, and with all sorts of techniques, and they paint like 10 miniatures a year. And I just find it very, very sad, because I feel like they're not getting, they're kind of maybe getting turned off the hobby a little bit through that. I hope that's not the case. If somebody actually really just enjoys painting their 10 miniatures a year and obsessing over it, then that's fine, of course. But I feel like there are a lot of people who sort of get kind of roped into this way of doing things by it just appearing like, oh yeah, you have to be good at painting, and then sort of lose sight of what's actually important, and that's actually getting stuff done. If all your painting is busts and single large boutique display miniatures, then sure, whatever. 10 miniatures a year, that's a pretty good rate if you paint stuff like that. But if you want to paint an army, 10 is nothing. 10 is a unit. So, yeah, I don't know. That's something I'm not so sure about. Another quick dislike while I'm on it, I absolutely hate painting metallics. They are my least favorite thing to paint. I try to get around them as much as I can by doing very simple things, like with my Oathmark goblins. I go with a black primer and I just dry brush all the metallics in silver in 2 stages, wash over them, then paint everything that's not supposed to be metal in black again, and then go from there. And that takes the least amount of time, and I don't really have to, and it looks just fine, don't have to care about it. Or with these, with the sort of speed painting technique, I actually prime them, in a metallic, in this case Lead Belcher from Games Workshop, and then I paint everything on top of it, because I just hate it. I hate metallics. Just these extra little bits where I primed them not silver and they have a tiny bit of metal, just painting that, I just hate it. Painting metallics is awful. Alright, something else I love. I really love spectacle. I'm big on spectacle wargaming. For the longest time, I sort of tried to match what everybody else was doing in my area, and I think that's normal when you're a teenager growing up. So I did mostly Games Workshop stuff, particularly Warhammer 40,000, which I am at this point pretty much done with. Also Warhammer Fantasy Battles. And then later on, I convinced everybody to play War Machine instead, and kind of did a bit of competitive gaming for a while, but I don't know. I kind of grew out of that as well. And then I kind of discovered basically this YouTube community, or what this YouTube community does in terms of just cool looking historical big army wargaming. And I love that. And it doesn't have to be historical. I do enjoy Oathmark a lot because it gives me that same kind of big army spectacle kind of feel. But yeah, that's what I enjoy. I don't really enjoy competitive gaming anymore. I could see myself going to an Oathmark tournament just for fun, and just to meet some other people who want to play Oathmark, or maybe I'll even make an Oathmark tournament just to get some interest going in the area, because I would really like to have some more local people to play Oathmark with. Let's see what I do next. I think I'm gonna start on the blue on these lads. Yeah, but spectacle wargaming is where it's at for me. I love that. I love having good scenery, well-painted miniatures, just all that sort of stuff. Did I even say that already? I don't remember. I'm realizing that making videos while painting is not a great idea for me, because my mind wanders and I have a hard time even recalling what I said. So, is there anything else? I think that is pretty much it. I think I'm just gonna, since I don't know what I already talked about and what I still wanted to talk about, I'm just gonna call it here. As I said, I don't really have that many dislikes. I love most of the hobby, and it's something that I just absolutely enjoy. A bit too much sometimes. If you look at my massive pile of shame, I have way too many miniatures that I collected over the years, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to paint all of them. I hope so, but it is certainly a lot that I have. Anyway, certainly looking forward to what other people in the community have that they like and dislike. Yeah, watching everybody's videos, and thanks for watching mine, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.